This is about me and my wife, Marissa. I'm Ethan, 38. She's 36. We've been married for 14 years. We've built a life together that, by all accounts, looks solid. A good one. Maybe even a lucky one. We met during college. She was in a photography program, and I was knee-deep in computer science. It's funny. She used to say I was the most left-brained person she'd ever met, and she loved how I saw the world like it could be debugged. I always thought she viewed the world through a kind of poetic lens I could never fully understand, but it fascinated me. She had this way of making everything seem more alive, more urgent. We met at a campus event. She was taking photos for the school magazine, and I was helping run the soundboard. It started small. We'd run into each other at the same coffee shop. Then one night, we both ended up walking back from the library late, and she asked if I wanted to stop by the art building. She needed to pick something up. We stayed there for 2 hours just talking in a dim studio, surrounded by canvases and the smell of turpentine. That was the start. From there, it all just unfolded. We dated all through school, moved in together the year after graduation, and got married the year after that. Nothing flashy. Just a courthouse, a handful of close friends, and dinner at our favorite Thai place. It was perfect. We bought our house about 8 years ago. A 3-bedroom in a quiet neighborhood with maple trees lining both sides of the street. Our daughter, Lily, was born a year later. She's 10 now, whip-smart, a little shy, and absolutely inseparable from Marissa. She's got her mom's eyes and her love for anything creative. She'll spend hours painting or building elaborate dollhouse setups in the living room. I work in software development, mostly from home. Marissa freelances in photography now, weddings, portraits, family shoots. She's great at it, too. People feel comfortable with her. They open up. And she always manages to catch the one moment that everyone else misses, the quick smile, the quiet glance. Our life is steady, comfortable. We have our routines. Morning coffee on the porch when the weather's nice. Friday pizza nights. Drives out to the countryside on weekends, just the three of us. It's not some fairy tale, just real, regular love built over years. Trust, partnership, small kindnesses. She likes to call it our little world, and I guess that's exactly what it is. If you saw us from the outside, you'd probably say we're doing fine. And you wouldn't be wrong. If there's one word I'd use to describe our life together, it's rhythm. We'd found our rhythm over the years, not overnight, and not without adjustments, but we got there. The kind where you know exactly how the other person takes their coffee, when they need quiet, when they just need to vent without hearing a solution. Mornings in our house are a bit of organized chaos. Lily always wakes up late. Marissa is usually halfway through a podcast while packing Lily's lunch, and I'm the one making pancakes, mostly for the smell, honestly. I'm not even a big breakfast guy, but Marissa swears pancakes make the house feel warm. I guess it's true. Marissa and I share the kind of familiarity that's hard to describe unless you've lived it. I can tell how her day's going just by the way she opens the front door. If it's slow and quiet, she's probably spent too long editing photos. If it's fast with a bounce, she likely had a great shoot. And if she drops her keys and sighs before saying a word, I know I need to let her decompress before asking anything. That's our kind of language now, the kind where words come second. She keeps the house bright. That's her touch. Plants in every corner. Family photos on the walls, all shot by her, of course. Even the mismatched mugs in the kitchen feel like little pieces of her personality scattered around. It's not a designer home or anything fancy. It's lived in, loved in. It smells like candles and coffee and whatever Lily's been baking with Marissa on Sundays. Weekends are sacred in our house. No work calls. No shoots unless it's something local or last minute. Saturdays we usually do something simple. A park picnic, a farmer's market, a lazy morning under blankets if the weather's right. Sundays are for chores, but we do them together, music on in the background, Lily dancing while pretending the vacuum is a microphone. Marissa laughs at everything she does, that full, crinkled eyes kind of laugh that makes you stop what you're doing just to look at her. And the truth is, I liked our little life. I still do, in the way you love a song you've heard 1,000 times. Maybe you don't feel the goosebumps every time, but it still holds you, still carries weight. There's history in it. We weren't perfect, but who is? We had our differences. She's a bit impulsive. I'm more cautious. She's the talker. I'm more quiet. But those differences always felt like balance, not conflict. We built something. A real life. A good one. Over the years, the way we love each other has changed, not faded, just evolved. When you're younger, love feels louder. It's big gestures, whirlwind weekends, staying up until 2 a.m. talking about your dreams. But after more than a decade, it settles into something quieter, something deeper. You stop needing to say, I love you, every 5 minutes because you show it in the way you scrape the frost off her windshield without being asked, or how she always remembers to record your favorite show when you forget. That's where Marissa and I were. Comfortable, but not complacent. We still touched in passing, mostly. A hand on the small of her back when I walked past. Her toes finding mine under the blanket at night. And every now and then, when the stars aligned and we weren't too tired or too distracted, there was real intimacy. Not just physical, but that kind of closeness that makes you feel like you're still choosing each other. We hadn't lost that. She still asked me about my day, even when I didn't have much to say. She liked hearing about the projects I was working on, even if half of it flew over her head. I always asked about her shoots, which families were sweet, which kids were impossible. And Lily was our favorite topic. That kid somehow inherited the best of both of us, my curiosity, Marissa's creativity. Raising her together made us feel like a team. I never questioned that. We had date nights maybe once or twice a month. Nothing fancy, sometimes just sitting on the porch after Lily went to bed, wine in hand, watching the quiet of the street settle in. Other nights we'd head out to that little Italian place on Main Street. She always ordered the same thing, the lemon chicken and a glass of wine, usually red. I joked that one day I'd get her to try something new. She'd roll her eyes and tell me not to fix what isn't broken. And maybe that was my mistake, in the long run, thinking nothing was broken. But at this point in the story, everything still felt right, still felt whole. We were busy, sure. Marissa's freelance work had picked up. She had a growing client list, lots of photo editing at night. I had just landed a new project that meant longer hours and a few late nights. But we made it work. We always had. We'd check in, text during the day, a quick call if one of us was running late. We were in sync, even when life got chaotic. I think that's what makes all of this so hard to reconcile now, because before it all unraveled, we were okay. Or at least I believed we were. If I had to pinpoint when things started to feel off, I'd say it was a Tuesday, late fall. The kind of day that sneaks up on you, cold enough to need a jacket in the morning, but warm enough by noon to make you wonder why you bothered. I came home early that day. A project meeting got pushed, and I thought I'd surprise Marissa and maybe grab lunch together, just the two of us. But when I walked in, the house was quiet. Not just quiet, still. Her car was out front, but I didn't hear the usual click of her laptop keys or the shuffle of her slippers on the hardwood. I called out her name and waited. She answered from upstairs, voice sharp, almost startled. Said she was editing. She didn't come down, didn't ask why I was home early, just said she'd be down in a bit. That was the first time I felt it, that odd sense, deep in my gut, that something wasn't right. But I brushed it off. She was probably just in the zone. She's always been intense when she's working. Still, that feeling didn't quite go away. Over the next couple of weeks, I started noticing little things. Small, nothing on their own kind of things. But they added up. She started locking her phone. I mean, we both had passcodes, but we never really used them around each other. Now, hers was always face down. If it buzzed, she'd check it quickly, then slide it back without saying anything. Sometimes she'd smile at whatever was on the screen, but when I asked what was funny, she'd just say, "Oh, nothing." And then there were the late shoots. More and more of them. Last-minute bookings, she said. Fall is busy season, she reminded me. I believed her, at first. But sometimes she'd come home hours after the sun had gone down, smelling like someone else's cologne. Not strong, not obvious, but there. I told myself I was being paranoid. I didn't want to be that guy. The guy who questions his wife over nothing, who makes a problem where there isn't one. So I stayed quiet. I reasoned with myself. I gave her the benefit of the doubt because that's what you do when you love someone. You trust them. But trust has a funny way of wearing thin when it's not being returned. We'd lie in bed, her back to me, scrolling on her phone in the dark. I'd reach out sometimes, just to touch her shoulder, to connect. And she'd flinch, or pull away, or say she was tired. Which, fine, people get tired. Life is exhausting. But it wasn't just tiredness. It felt like avoidance. One night, I asked her, gently, if everything was okay, if there was anything on her mind. She blinked at me like I'd asked if she wanted to move to another planet. Yeah, she said. Why wouldn't it be? I told her she just seemed distant lately. like her head was somewhere else. I asked if she was stressed about work. She laughed, this short, fake-sounding laugh, and said, "You always think something's wrong when I'm quiet." "I'm fine. Everything's fine." But I didn't believe her. That was the night I couldn't fall asleep. I just stared at the ceiling, listening to her breathing next to me. My mind kept looping through every little moment, every detail I'd brushed off before. I couldn't shake it. I didn't have proof. No texts. No strange phone calls. No lipstick-stained collars or hotel receipts in her bag. But I had that feeling, and it wouldn't go away. I didn't confront her again after that night. Not directly. I told myself that maybe I was overthinking things, that I'd let stress mess with my head. But somewhere deep down, I knew. I just didn't want to say it out loud. So instead, I started watching. Not in an obsessive, checking her every move kind of way. More like, I was taking mental snapshots of the life we used to share, trying to figure out if something had really changed or if it was just me. It was subtle at first. Her laughter had changed. That was the one that stuck with me most. Marissa used to have this big, open laugh, the kind that made strangers turn their heads in restaurants. Lately, though, when she laughed, and it wasn't often, it felt performative. Like something she was doing for someone else, not because something was genuinely funny. Then there were the phone calls she started taking outside. That was new. She'd step out onto the porch or the driveway, usually when she thought I was upstairs or busy with Lily. I could hear the low hum of her voice sometimes through the window, hushed, clipped, always ending the same way. Okay. Yeah. Later. Later. I don't know why that word hit so hard. Maybe because it suggested a plan. A next time. Like she was arranging her life in two timelines, the one with me and the one I wasn't invited into. One evening, I asked her if she wanted to watch a movie, just the two of us, like we used to. I even let Lily stay up a bit later so we could have some time after she went to bed. Marissa smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Maybe tomorrow, she said, already half scrolling on her phone. I'm just wiped. But she didn't go to bed early. She stayed up on the couch, messaging someone, her thumbs moving fast, a small grin tugging at the corner of her mouth. I stood in the kitchen and just watched her for a moment. And the strangest thing happened. I felt like I didn't know her. Like I was watching someone I used to be married to, not the person I'd shared the last 14 years with. That scared me more than anything. I started noticing her changing her appearance. A new perfume, something lighter, fruitier. New bras showing up in the laundry that I'd never seen before. She'd say they were on sale. Nothing special, she'd add. But Marissa never bought anything on sale just because. She chose everything with intention. And then there was the gym. She'd never really been a gym person before, but out of nowhere, she started going 3 or 4 times a week. Always in the evenings. Always after dinner. I asked if she wanted me to come with her sometime, and she said no, that it was her alone time. I respected that. Or tried to. But the timing didn't sit right with me. So I started tracking it. Just small notes to myself. What time she left, how long she was gone, whether she came back flushed from a workout or just different. Sometimes she'd be gone for an hour and a half. Sometimes 3. And when she got home, she'd always head straight for the shower. I told myself it was nothing. I reminded myself that she was allowed to have her own life, her own space. And I believed that. I really did. But there's a difference between space and secrecy. And I was starting to feel like I wasn't just being given space, I was being pushed out of something. Something I hadn't even realized I was no longer part of. Something about the way she's been moving through the house feels different. That's the only way I can describe it. She still says the right things. Still kisses me goodnight, still smiles at Lily's jokes, still plays the role of wife and mother like nothing's changed. But it's in the way she walks past me without making eye contact. The way her answers feel half a second too late, like she's searching for the version of the truth I'll believe. I've been holding all this in, and I hate how much it's taking up space in my head. I haven't accused her of anything. I haven't even asked any real questions. Because honestly, I don't know what I'd do with the answers. I'm not ready to lose the life we've built over a gut feeling. But the feeling's growing. She told me she had a shoot in the city last Thursday. I asked where. She said, by the park. You know, that spot with the bridge and the stone wall. I nodded, like I knew exactly what she meant. But when I checked her car later that night, not snooping, just grabbing something I'd left in the passenger seat, I saw a parking stub from a garage across town. 10 blocks away. Different direction entirely. I tried to explain it away. Maybe she stopped for coffee. Maybe traffic rerouted her. But the garage was near the financial district. Not exactly prime portrait photography territory. I told myself to let it go, but I didn't. It's not just the location slips. It's her mood swings. She's either overly cheerful, like she's trying to prove something, or she's distant, distracted by a text she won't talk about, or a thought she won't share. When I ask if she's okay, she always says the same thing. Just tired. That's the one I can't argue with. We're all tired. Life does that to you. The other night, I caught her standing in front of the hallway mirror, just staring at herself. She didn't see me. She was adjusting her necklace, this gold one I hadn't seen before. She tilted her head, studied her reflection, then smiled this small, private smile. It wasn't for me. I don't know who it was for, but it wasn't me. When she noticed me, she jumped. Said she was checking if her outfit looked presentable. But we weren't going anywhere. It was a Tuesday. She was going to the grocery store. It's gotten to the point where I've started keeping a mental log. I never write anything down. I don't want to be that guy. But I take mental notes of the things that don't add up. A missed call she doesn't mention. A photo she says she's editing that never shows up in her online gallery. A phone charger she keeps in her purse even though she always used to keep one in the car. It's not hard evidence. Not even close. But when you've lived with someone for 14 years, you learn the patterns. You know the rhythm of their day, the way their energy flows through the house. And when that rhythm changes, when the melody goes flat, you feel it. Something's different. I haven't said a word. Not because I'm afraid of the truth, but because I'm afraid I already know it, and just don't want to admit it yet. By now, I feel like I'm holding my breath all the time. Nothing's been said. Nothing's been done. But the silence between us is louder than any fight we've ever had. It's like there's this invisible thread tying me to something I can't see yet. Pulling, tightening, refusing to let go. Marissa's become careful. That's the only word for it. She's not defensive. She's not cold. If anything, she's attentive. Almost too attentive. She kisses me before she leaves for errands. She asks about my day more than usual. But none of it feels real. It feels rehearsed, like she's trying to keep a script going that I'm no longer convinced of. Last Friday, she said she had a late shoot with a couple celebrating their anniversary. She told me it might run long, that she'd probably grab dinner out, not to wait up. I offered to come along, said I could keep her company, maybe help with gear like I used to back in the early days. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. That's sweet, she said. But it's kind of intimate. They just want something quiet. Intimate. That word stuck with me all night. I tried to distract myself. Put on a movie. Made popcorn. But I couldn't stop checking the clock. 7:45, 9:10, 10:30. At 11:12, she texted, almost done. Heading back soon. Love you. I stared at those words like they were written in another language. I typed everything okay, but never sent it. What was I going to say? I don't believe you. She got home after midnight. I was still up. Pretended to be watching some late-night comedy special with the volume down. She came in quietly, kissed the top of my head, said the shoot went great, and went straight to the shower. No gear. No camera bag. Just her purse. The next morning, I checked her online gallery, the one where she posts client previews. Nothing new. Not even a folder for the shoot. I thought maybe she hadn't uploaded them yet, but Marissa usually edits the same night. It's her thing. She's obsessive about it. I didn't say a word. I just nodded when she said she was tired. Told her to sleep in. But something inside me shifted that day. I started checking her gallery every morning. Watched her schedule more closely. Not to catch her, not exactly. I think part of me was still hoping I was wrong. That I'd find the missing gallery, or realize I got the date wrong. Or that I was just projecting some midlife anxiety onto the woman I've loved since college. But every time I gave her the benefit of the doubt, something else would tilt. Like the voice message I overheard. She was in the kitchen, AirPods in, slicing strawberries for Lily's lunchbox. She had her phone on speaker for just a moment, probably didn't realize it. I was passing through when I heard a male voice say, I can't stop thinking about last time. And then, just like that, she fumbled the phone, turned it off, and went pale. She laughed, forced and breathy. Spam call, she said, without even turning around. I said nothing. I should have said something. But I didn't. Because I'm not ready to push it over the edge. Not yet. I need to be sure. I have to be sure. Because once I know for certain, I can't go back. It was a Saturday. Warm for early spring. The kind of day where the sun filters through the windows in a way that makes everything look gentler than it really is. I had taken Lily to a morning art class, something she'd been asking about for weeks, and afterward, we stopped at a bakery to pick up some of those little strawberry tarts Marissa likes. We were both in good moods. I remember that. We laughed in the car. Lily made up a song about how weekends should last forever. And for a brief moment, I felt normal again, like the unease I'd been carrying for weeks had been paused, like life had forgotten to remind me something was wrong. When we pulled into the driveway, I noticed the curtains in the living room were drawn shut, unusual for that time of day. I didn't think much of it. Sometimes Marissa liked to nap with the lights low, especially if she'd had a long week. Lily ran up the steps ahead of me, holding the bakery bag like it was a treasure chest. I unlocked the front door, stepped inside, and immediately felt something off. It wasn't anything I could see, not at first. It was the air. Heavy. Still. The faint hum of music from somewhere in the back of the house. A smell I couldn't place, something sweet and musky, unfamiliar. Lily called out for her mom, cheerful, excited. I followed behind her slowly, that knot in my stomach pulling tighter with every step. And then everything unraveled in a matter of seconds. I heard her voice first, Marissa's, muffled but unmistakably hers. Laughter. The soft kind. Then another voice. A man's. Quiet. Close. Then footsteps upstairs. Lily was already heading that way, skipping toward the hallway like it was just another normal day. I don't know why I didn't stop her. Maybe I froze. Maybe part of me still didn't believe what I was hearing. Maybe I thought I was wrong. But what happened next is burned into my memory in a way I will never forget, not for the rest of my life. Lily reached the top of the stairs and turned toward our bedroom. She opened the door before I could call her back. Just swung it wide open, and then she stopped. Completely still. A statue of a little girl holding a paper bakery bag in both hands. I heard her whisper, "Mom?" Marissa's scream came a beat later, sharp, panicked. I dropped the bag I was holding and ran up the stairs, two at a time. And then I saw it. Her. Them. She was on the bed, tangled in sheets she hadn't bothered to change. A man I didn't recognize was scrambling to grab his jeans from the floor. Her face was pale, caught between fear and something else, guilt maybe, or fury at being found. Lily turned toward me, her expression hollow, blank in a way no 10-year-old's face should ever look. I stepped between them instinctively, shielding Lily from the scene behind me. Marissa was already stammering something, my name, some kind of explanation I couldn't even process. The man said nothing. He didn't look at me, just grabbed his clothes and stumbled past me and my daughter like we were furniture. He didn't even look ashamed. Just rushed. Marissa pulled the blanket around herself, her eyes wild, mouth opening and closing like she couldn't choose a lie fast enough. I didn't say a word. I couldn't. My heart was hammering so hard I could barely hear. I led Lily back down the stairs, holding her hand the entire time. She was shaking, and I realized I was too. We sat on the couch in silence. I wrapped my arms around her and just held her there, like if I squeezed hard enough I could protect her from what she'd just seen. She didn't cry. Not then. She just sat there, head resting on my chest, silent in a way that scared me more than any scream ever could. Marissa came down a few minutes later, dressed now, but looking like a stranger. Her face was tight, her jaw clenched, eyes red but dry. She started to speak, something about explaining, about it not being what it looked like. But I stood up and told her to stop. Not in a shout, not in anger, just firm, final. I told her to go to her sister's, that she wasn't staying here, that she wasn't welcome in this house. And she tried to look shocked, to play confused. But the words didn't come out right. They tripped over themselves and fell flat between us. She looked at Lily, and that's when the tears finally came from her, not from our daughter. She said, "I'm so sorry, baby," but Lily didn't respond. She turned her face into my chest and said, "Can we go somewhere else, Dad?" That was the only thing she said that day. I packed a bag for Lily and one for myself. I told Marissa I'd be back later for more of our things. She didn't stop me. She didn't say anything else. We went to my sister's. I told her only the basics. I didn't have the energy to say more. And now I'm sitting in a borrowed bedroom, watching my daughter sleep beside me, and I'm trying to process the fact that the life I thought I had wasn't real. That the woman I trusted most in the world chose that, our home, our bed, to betray us in the most intimate, most public, most cowardly way. And worst of all, she let our daughter be the one to discover it. I didn't sleep that night. Lily curled into me, her hand clutching the hem of my shirt like if she let go, the world would tilt again. I watched her chest rise and fall until the sun came up. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that door swing open. I saw the look on her face, the frozen stillness, the way she went quiet, like a switch flipped, and she stopped being a kid for a second. I don't think I'll ever forgive Marissa for that. Not because she cheated, not because she broke my heart, but because she let our daughter walk into that. By morning, the grief had calcified into something colder. I wasn't crying anymore. I wasn't shaking. I was just done. There's a moment, if you've ever been there, you'll know, when the pain stops making you feel weak and starts making you feel like you could walk through fire without blinking. That's where I was. Every ounce of love I had for her, every soft part of me she used to reach, it all turned off. I didn't care about reasons anymore. I didn't want closure. I didn't want apologies. I wanted distance. And I wanted her to feel it. I dropped Lily off at my sister's for the afternoon. Told her I had to go home and take care of some things. My sister hugged me tight and said she'd keep her busy. I nodded, barely hearing her. I drove back to the house, our house, and it didn't feel like mine anymore. It felt like a crime scene. I walked inside and was immediately hit by the scent of her perfume. It clung to everything. I went to our bedroom and stood in the doorway, staring at the sheets. She had made the bed. She had made the bed. As if cleaning up the mess somehow erased it. I walked out, grabbed a screwdriver from the garage, and went straight for the front door. 15 minutes later, the lock was changed. New key in my pocket. Just like that, she didn't live here anymore. Her stuff? I packed it. Every drawer. Every hanger. Every single thing she could possibly claim as hers. It all went into boxes. I stacked them by the door, taped shut and waiting. No angry notes. No dramatic displays. Just clean, cold removal. I texted her, "Your things are packed. Come get them. I'll be out. You don't live here anymore." Then I got in the car. But I didn't go to Lily. Not yet. I had another stop to make. It took me a few hours and a little digging, but I found him, the guy. The one from the bedroom. I still didn't know his name, but I knew his car. Red BMW, dent in the rear left bumper. I drove around the neighborhood a few miles from ours, stopping at every house with a red BMW until I found one with that same dent, parked right outside a cookie-cutter house with a basketball hoop in the driveway. The curtains were open. A woman sat inside on a laptop, cup of coffee in hand. She looked like she was mid-30s, maybe early 40s. Blonde. Composed. Tired in the way working moms always look tired. I parked a little down the block and waited. It was him who opened the door 20 minutes later. Same build, same face. No doubt. She leaned up and kissed him, then turned back to her screen. That's when I knew. He had a wife. And she had no idea. Now, I'm not proud of what came next. I didn't knock. I didn't yell. I didn't fight him in the street. But I did the only thing I could do in that moment that felt like justice. I followed her on social media. Didn't take long. Her profile was public. She just posted a photo of their anniversary dinner from 2 weeks ago. I sent her a message. No introduction. No drama. Just this. "Hi. You don't know me. But I'm the husband of the woman your husband has been sleeping with. My daughter walked in on them yesterday in our bed. I thought you deserved to know." Then I attached a photo I'd taken months ago of me and Marissa on our anniversary, one where she was wearing the same necklace I saw her adjusting in the mirror a few weeks back. The one she didn't buy for herself. I hit send. Then I blocked her. I didn't want to be part of the chaos that came next. I just wanted the truth to land where it needed to. On the way back to my sister's, I felt something I hadn't felt in weeks: control. Not satisfaction. Not peace. But control. I had been sitting in silence, drowning in doubt, second-guessing every instinct. And now? Now the air felt cleaner. That night, when Lily asked if we were going back home, I told her no. I told her we were going to make a new home. Just the two of us. She didn't ask why. She just nodded and curled into my side. And that's when I realized I didn't need to burn the whole world down to get even. I just needed to lock the door behind her. The days that followed felt strangely calm, like the sky after a tornado has passed, when everything looks the same, but nothing is. You walk through the wreckage, counting walls, checking for cracks, pretending you don't already know that some things will never be put back the way they were. I didn't hear from Marissa right away. I assumed she got the message. She didn't try to come in. The changed locks made sure of that. She didn't call, didn't text. The boxes sat on the porch for 2 days before they were gone. No note left behind. Just silence. I wasn't sure if she was being respectful or if she just didn't know what to say. Honestly, I didn't care. I was too focused on Lily. She hadn't said much since that day. Kids process trauma in strange ways. At first, she was quiet. Too quiet. Then came the questions, short, direct, knife-sharp. Why was that man there? Why wasn't Mom sorry? Is she going to come back? I answered honestly, carefully. I told her that Mom made a choice that hurt both of us, that it wasn't her fault, and that no matter what happens, I will always, always be with her. She just nodded. Didn't cry. I think the tears will come later, when the shock wears off. I've kept her home from school this week. Not because I want to hide anything, but because I need time with her. We've gone for walks. Played board games. Ordered pizza twice because I couldn't bring myself to cook. We're figuring out this new rhythm together. A little messy, a little uncertain, but ours. At night, she sleeps in my bed. She clutches her stuffed rabbit like it's life support, and sometimes I hear her whisper things in her sleep. Once, she said, "Don't open the door." I just laid there in the dark, holding her, wanting to turn back time more than I ever have in my life. I thought I'd feel satisfied after what I did. Changing the locks. Messaging the other guy's wife. Kicking Marissa out. And yeah, there was some closure in it. But now that the house is quiet, now that there's no yelling, no confrontations, no chaos, I'm just left with this hollow kind of ache. Not for her, but for what I thought we had. For the version of our life that never really existed. I still don't know how long it had been going on. Weeks? Months? Maybe longer. I don't know who the guy is beyond that one snapshot of him pulling his pants off my bedroom floor. I don't care anymore. There's no part of me that needs details. I've seen enough. The only time Marissa reached out was through a single email. No subject line. Just, "I'm sorry. I know it doesn't fix anything. I just wanted you to know I never meant to hurt Lily. Or you." I didn't reply. There's nothing left to say. And maybe that's the hardest part, realizing that someone you loved for so long can unravel everything with a single, selfish act. Not just the marriage, not just the trust, but the story. The story you were building together. The memories that now come with a bitter aftertaste. The anniversaries that don't mean anything anymore. The house that no longer feels like home. I'm still here, in my sister's spare room. But I've started looking at rentals. Just something small, 2 bedrooms, good school district, close enough to Lily's art classes. It won't be much, but it'll be ours. No ghosts. No history. Just a new place to start over. And that's where I'm at now. Not broken. Not healed. Just somewhere in between. It's been 3 weeks since everything came undone. We moved into the new place last weekend, me and Lily. Small townhouse on the edge of a quiet street, with peeling paint on the mailbox and a crooked little tree in the yard. It's nothing special, not by any real estate agent standards. But to us, it's a clean slate. The first night we were here, I sat on the edge of the bed while Lily arranged her stuffed animals on the window ledge. She asked if we'd ever live with Mom again. I took a breath before I answered, because I wanted to get it right. "No," I said. "We're starting a new chapter now. Just us." She didn't cry. She just nodded, like a little adult who's already accepted what most grown-ups take years to face, that sometimes people who are supposed to protect you don't. We've started building new routines. I take her to school every morning. She insists on picking the music, which means I've memorized at least 6 different versions of Taylor Swift songs I never intended to know. We cook dinner together. She wants to help with everything: stirring, seasoning, setting the table. I think she just wants to feel useful. I get that. Marissa hasn't reached out since that email. I haven't chased her. We've exchanged a few short texts about Lily, drop-offs, pickups, schedules, but nothing beyond that. I've made it clear, we're parents now, and only parents. There's no repairing what she broke. Not because I'm incapable of forgiveness, but because some things change you in ways you don't come back from. I used to think betrayal was about a moment, a lie, a secret, a mistake. But it's not. It's about the erosion. The slow rot that starts small and then spreads until the foundation gives out. You look back, and suddenly, all the good memories feel infected. Not erased, just harder to trust. Harder to hold without wondering what was real and what was borrowed time. I've learned a lot about myself these past few weeks. More than I wanted to. I've learned that I can be calm in the face of destruction. That I can prioritize my daughter's safety and peace over my need for revenge. That silence can be stronger than shouting. That leaving the door closed, literally and figuratively, sometimes is the final word. But I've also learned that healing isn't a straight line. Some days I wake up feeling lighter. Other days, I feel like I'm dragging my heart through wet cement. And that's okay. I don't need to be fine all at once. I just need to keep going. I've thought a lot about what I'd say to Marissa now, if we sat across from each other in a quiet room. Maybe I'd say thank you, not out of grace, but clarity. Thank you for showing me who you really were, before I spent another year, another decade, pretending everything was fine. Thank you for tearing off the mask. For forcing me to stop lying to myself. Or maybe I wouldn't say anything at all. There's power in walking away without looking back. As for the other guy, I never heard what happened after I messaged his wife. Maybe she kicked him out. Maybe she forgave him. Maybe they're both sitting in some couple's therapist's office, trying to figure out what led him to sneak around in someone else's home like a coward. It doesn't matter to me anymore. I don't need his apology. I don't need his name. He didn't ruin my life. Marissa didn't either. They just freed me from a version of my life that wasn't honest anymore. And now? Now I get to build something new. For me. For Lily. With nothing hidden behind closed doors.